Hello and welcome back to Sports Talk Live. Sorry we missed you last week. Today we have members of the women's soccer team, Jen Hutchinson and Melissa McKeary. And later on in the show we have some members of the women's rugby team a little bit later. But for now, let's talk about women's soccer. So taking a step back, looking at last year, you were 13-4-4 overall. How do you compare last year's team to this year?
I think this year our team has a lot better chemistry on and off the field. We're definitely a solid team. We have a lot of returners. And the freshmen that did come in, they feel like they've been a part of the team. And I think that makes a big difference, and it shows on the field.
Okay, and it really does show because you started off 10-0, so how about you guys talk about that really good start you had?
We had a great start. Everything was really flowing well. In the beginning, like the first few games, we were scoring like 4 to 5 goals a game, and we think that some of the other teams might have figured that out at this point, so they're all kind of packing it in. But we took a little downward, but we're getting back to where we started.
Yeah, right now you're 11-2-1.
Yeah.
And so how about you talk about a little bit of a skid you had, what's been the problems?
I think we had a target on our back for a while. It's hard to go through a season undefeated, and we just kind of had an off game. It started with Lock Haven. Do you want to talk about Lock Haven?
Before the game, there was like so many other elements that were going wrong between like the bus. Like the game got pushed back like 3 hours by the time we got there, and so we just weren't prepared mentally. Also, the practices up until then weren't as intense and competitive as they normally are. So we definitely slacked a little bit, and that showed. And we tried to pick it back up at the ESU game, but it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
Now, do you think those things are good, having troubles throughout the season, kind of build to prepare for the playoffs, things like that? You think that's good for you?
Yeah, I think it's better that we had these losses now, kind of towards our end of the season, because we've had so many strong points up until then. So now, preparing for postseason, we know what we need to work on, and I think that's going to be a huge help.
And you have 3 games left. You play Bloomsburg, Clarion, and Millersville. All 3 of those teams seem to be a little bit of the weaker teams. So what do you guys see your playoff chances coming into the end of the season?
Well, the one thing that we learned this year is that no matter where they're ranked, anyone can beat anyone on any given day. If you look at the PSAC right now, teams are losing to teams that aren't even in the top 4. Like a top 1 and 2 place are losing to like 7 and 8. Mm-hmm. So anyone can win on any given day. So we're not going to take it lightly. We're going to practice as hard as we possibly can and come out as strong. But as for playoff, we're pretty much expecting of ourselves to be coming in first and to be able to host PSACs and regionals.
Now, you play Bloomsburg next. We always do this. We did it with the football team. We want to hear what your picks for the game are. What's the score going to be?
I'm going to say 3-0 us.
3-0?
I'm going to agree.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's going to be a little bit closer, but you're coming off 2 losses. You're going to come back and get a big win. It's going to be 2-1. You guys are going to pull it out. So before we wrap everything up, is there anything you guys want to say, shout-outs, whatever you want to do?
Hi, Mom.
Not really. Just if you want to come out, the next 3 games will be really good, so definitely come out and support.
Especially homecoming. It's going to be our senior day.
All right, well, thanks again for coming out. Good luck in the rest of your season and going into the playoffs. But for now, let's move it over to women's rugby. We have Riley and Taylor with members of the rugby team.
Thanks, Brian. We're here with senior captains Kim Esposito and Katie McLucky to talk a little women's rugby. Thanks for coming in, guys. Let's get started. All right, well, this year you guys started 2-0-1, and last year you guys started off the year 4-0. What are some keys to your success, at least in the early going of the season?
Well, last year we lost a lot of talented players, but we also have a lot of new talent coming on the team. I think our game plan has changed a little bit, but it's always been a focus for us to shut them down defensively and then capitalize on their mistakes and score some points.
Okay. Now, your recent win, you beat Pittsburgh 27-0. Do you guys want to just kind of like break that game down for us? Tell us what worked and what didn't work so well.
In the first half, we struggled a little bit. We were mostly playing defense the entire first half, but come the second half, we capitalized on their mistakes by our defensive pressure and got the ball and scored most of our points in the second half.
That's good. Now, next up, this Saturday, actually tomorrow, you go out to Connecticut to play Quinnipiac. What's your game plan going into this match?
Well, Quinnipiac has had a very successful season so far. They've been beating teams by a lot of points, a lot meaning like the last game they beat the team 130-0.
Wow.
However, the teams they've been playing have not been of the caliber of Westchester Rugby, so we're trying to basically catch them off guard and pressure them defensively like the other teams couldn't, and make them mess up their ball and capitalize on their mistakes.
130 points. That's got to be some kind of record, isn't it? That's a lot of
Yeah,
points.
it's a lot of points, but.
All right, now what we usually do is when we talk about a game, we make our own picks. So we would like you to see what you think the score will be. I'm assuming you guys are going to think the Westchester is going to win, right? So
Yeah.
what do you think the score is going to be? Is it going to be close? Or do you think you'll be able to handle them?
I think that is going to be a tough game, but I do think we will come out on top. I'm predicting 24-10.
Okay.
I'm going to say 19-5. I think we'll let one try in, but then we'll keep them out for the rest of the game.
All right.
All right, that sounds good. Any other things about the outlook on your season? Like, how do you think you guys are going to play the rest of the season?
Next semester, we have our 2 other divisional games against Maryland and Navy, and there's a very strong possibility for us to go on to nationals this year if we can beat Navy. So we're just going to focus on that come spring.
Okay, now you said next semester, so you kind of have like 2 seasons. They're kind of broken apart in the fall and spring, right?
Yeah, so right now we're in a division with 4 other teams, Pittsburgh, JMU, Navy, and University of Maryland. So we've had 2 divisional games this fall, part of our season, and in the spring we're going to have 2 more games, and then playoffs and things like that.
And you beat JMU and Pitt, right?
Yes, so
okay.
right now.
So those are big wins.
Yes, so right now we are doing very, very well in our division, and we're very hopeful for the spring.
All right, that sounds good. Well, anything else you guys want to say to your fans, to your coach, players, anything?
Hey, Tony. Thanks for setting this up.
Yeah.
And hey, ladies from the team. We'll see y'all later.
Well, thank you for coming in. Good luck on Saturday. But now let's shift our focus to the football team.
After a rough loss to ESU 35-28, Westchester bounced back, easily defeating LIU Post 41-6. Ronel Williams had a standout game as he was named the PSAC East Defensive Player of the Week. Our field reporter, Paige Elliott, had the chance to meet up with him earlier in the week. Let's take a look.
I'm here with starting middle linebacker Ronel Williams. Ronel Williams was selected for the PSAC East Defensive Player of the Week. This past game against LIU Post, Ronel had 14 tackles, causing the Pioneers to have 8 punts. Ronel, how do you feel about this success?
It feels good to get the award, PSAC East Player of the Week. But I owe the credit to my teammates, my defensive line, my secondary, to my coaches for putting me in the right position to make plays. I just thank God for the opportunity to do so.
Right now for the season, you have 78 tackles. You're 1 shy from 79, your total from last year. How do you feel that you've progressed as a player? You've been a leader on the field defensively. How would you feel about your own progression?
I definitely feel like I grew as a football player, which helped me off the field. But like I said earlier, I just thank God for the growth and the opportunity to grow and be able to showcase my talents.
This week and coming up, Saturday at 2 o'clock, you guys will be playing Shippensburg. There's been a lot of hype about the game. It's a homecoming game. Do you feel like your team is prepared offensively and defensively for this game?
Yes, we have. We prepared hard all week. We let it all go this week. We focused on our mental aspect of football, also the physical aspect. Our team, we just sold in this week, and we know it's a lot of hype about it, but we try not to focus too much on what the other team is doing, but try to limit our own mistakes and just come out and win the game on Saturday.
Definitely. So good luck to the football team this week. Like I said, on Saturday they play Shippensburg at 2 o'clock. Make sure you guys come out and support. Again, I'm here with Ronel Williams, Defensive East Player of the Week.
Thanks, Paige, for the great interview. As we all know, Saturday is homecoming. Westchester plays undefeated Shippensburg at 2 o'clock. Make sure you come out and show your support. But for now, let's move on and take a look at Westchester field hockey.
Field hockey is currently 14-2 on the year and on a 4-game winning streak. They recently clinched at least a share of the PSAC East Division title with their most recent victory over ESU 5-0. Up next is their regular season finale at Kutztown this Saturday, the 20th at 12 o'clock. After the girls take care of business on Saturday, they'll be coming back home to prepare for next weekend's PSAC tournament played here at Westchester. Well, that's all we have for field hockey. Now it's time for some Outside the Horns.
Well, guys, taking a look at our last poll, who won the World Series, the Tigers won with over 40% of the votes. And our viewers are looking pretty smart considering they're moving into the World Series. But what do you guys think about the playoffs so far?
Well, Brad, my picks didn't work out too well, considering I took the Athletics and the Reds, and neither of them got out of the first round. And even though the Tigers are doing really well and in the World Series, I think the team to watch are the Cardinals. A lot of people counted this team out when they got rid of Albert Pujols, and they're back for some more this season.
Yeah, well, I'm actually pretty excited because I picked the Tigers to win the World Series, so my pick's looking pretty good. I was really surprised with the Nationals and the Orioles. I really wanted them to do well, but they got knocked out early. But in the end, I'm happy because the Tigers are still in it.
Yeah, I mean, those are both my picks, the Orioles and the Nationals. You know, since they were closest to Philly, besides the actual Phillies, I thought they would have a shot. But they were both a year or two away, so not too worried about that. They'll be back. And I have to agree with you, Brian. The Tigers are just too good with Cy Young winner Verlander and Triple Crown winner Miguel Cabrera. I just don't see anyone beating them, and I think they're going to win the World Series.
Well, we know obviously the Tigers are in the World Series, but take a look at the NL. Which team do you see pulling it out?
Well, I mean, as I mentioned, the Cardinals, they're up 3-1, and they just look like the much better team rather than the Giants right now.
I have to go with you too. I mean, up 3-1. I don't like either teams. Both teams knocked the Phillies out in prior years, but the Cardinals, with their pitching and with their clutch hitting, like they always seem to have in the playoffs, I'll have to go with them to make it for the NL.
Yeah, I was just actually about to say I don't root for either team considering the Phillies in the playoffs, but in the end, I think that St. Louis is going to pull it out, and it's going to be Tigers, Cardinals, and hopefully the Tigers are going to pull it out.
Yeah.
All right, now let's shift our attention to the Eagles as they've had some struggles in the early going. What do you guys think about the season so far?
Well, I was a little excited when they started off 2-0, but they really had their struggles. And people have been talking about the defense, you know, with Juan Castillo being fired and everything. I'm putting most of the blame on the offense. I mean, they're having way too many turnovers, and that's putting way too much pressure on the defense. So they're playing the first 3 quarters on the field for most of the game, and then everyone's wondering why they're letting go towards the 4th quarter. But I think that's why you have to put the blame on the offense. They have to be on the field more, giving more rest to the defense. And if they can do that, I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah, Brian, I have to agree with you. The defense in the first 3 quarters for the Eagles is one of the best in the entire league. It just so happens that in the 4th quarter, we really, at least the last 2 games, have let it slip away. Now with Bowles coming in now, he has some more experience, maybe more well-respected, and maybe that can turn our defense around. I do agree that the offense has to pick it up, but the 4th quarter, you can't give up a lead, especially 10 points with 5 minutes to go. That's just unforgivable.
Well, they got to do more than pick it up offensively. Right. I mean, the defense hasn't played that bad at all, with all things considered. I think it's the turnovers. I think it's the offense in general. If they clean up their act, they'll make the defense's job so much easier, and we'll see the results.
So what do you guys think? I know it was a little controversy with Juan Castillo being fired. Personally, me and I know a lot of other people would have liked to see Andy Reid being fired, but you obviously know that's not going to happen, at least until the end of the season. We'll see what happens. But what do you guys think about Juan Castillo being fired?
I think it was necessary just to kind of stir the pot a little bit. It's got Reid on edge now because no one's job is safe at this point, and if it doesn't turn around quick, I mean, he's going to be the next one to go. I wouldn't even be surprised, you know, in the long term, if Michael Vick's job is in jeopardy. You know, they talk about how he can't be touched and how much money he's getting paid. But at the end of the day, if Foles, you know, he's on the preseason. I know it's just the preseason, but he's played great. So I would be a little scared if I was Vick even. And you're right, if we don't turn around by the end of the year, I think Reid's going to be gone. Well, guys, since we talked about Juan Castillo being fired, I think that's going to be this week's poll question. How will the firing of Juan Castillo affect the Philadelphia Eagles? Be sure to visit our website, sportstalklive.net, to vote. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have this week on Sports Talk Live. We'll be here next week, same time, same place. Take it easy, Westchester.